Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So, today we're gonna do a quick look at BattleTech. Well, with 100 plus hours, I don't think this is a quick look, but yeah. But different than many times than I did this, I don't have a final opinion on the game. I don't know if it's the fact that I really wanted this game to succeed or whatever, but I see enough thing, like with every good thing this game has, with every amazing aspect the game has, there's something that is literally tugging like me and say, yeah, I don't like this aspect, so I don't know. The fact is, as I said, a lot of the things are great, but there is still things that really not, like, still grind me a little bit, still not the best. To that matter of fact, I want to start with something. Art style. Look, BattleTech art style in itself is very, very good. As I said many and many times, I was not not a old school fan of BattleTech. This is kind of like beside a tabletop or like a tabletop RPG session, like a campaign that I did like 2 or 3 years ago. I was never really introduced to BattleTech, so this was my first time with the setting. But one man said that, and that stuck with me since I watched that video. The art style of BattleTech is easily simplified with, what if Caterpillar bought a Gundam factory? That is your answer. The mechs are a little bit more grounded in reality, quote unquote. Yeah, they still giant, like more than 100 tons sometimes of pure metal in a fusion reactor. So yeah, reality slipping a little, but we are in sci-fi, so we can do that shit. And now to the art style of the game. Yeah, most of the time all the mechs are really cool and the design are great. The texture on the mechs itself, they are amazing. But sometimes you got some close-up can and you see the scenery and and you're gonna see a lot of bad texture. But as I said, the 3D models of the mechs, for the most important part, are great. The terrain, not so much, but you can skip that shit. It's not important. Important to see the mechs blowing up. And the explosions, everything, it's great. To the other part of the art style, you have cutscenes and character models. And that's when some things not go so right. What I mean by that is, everything there was hand drawn on this game is amazing. While sometimes that clashes a little bit with the 3D models. To be more exactly, Kamiya mod 3D model clashes so much with her 2D counterpart and is like strange. And I kind of gonna say the reason why no other character bothers me so much is because you rarely see a hand draw version of the character. To that effect, it would be very strange if, for example, probably would have the same problem if Mastiff had a 3D model, because he's someone that you see on cutscenes. He's someone that you every time that you most see him, he would be there. And if he appear on a fucking, like, he stay alive and appear on your ship, yeah, that would be a little bit strange. That's why I have to say, there is a little bit of a clash between the 3D models and the 2D hand draw stuff. And to the matter of the fact, I don't like the 3D portraits. I know the 3D portraits are easy on the way the fact then, since you have to random, holy shit, you had to generate thousands and thousands and thousands of portraits to the game, and the way the game does is simply by numbers. You take the character creator, they like outline like scar 1, beer 2, hair color 3, and things like that. With these numbers, he generates the portrait of the character that you find. But even so, yeah, the 3D ones look strange. So what I end up doing is going on your config files. I think was the sim game constant, something like that. Find a line with roaming or something. The line was with 0.08 or something like that, and I bumped it a little bit to 0.5. That meaning with 0.8, each time you would go to the hiring hall, you would have like 8% chance of not a 0.8, but a 0. The 0 point is strange, but the 0.8 mean you have 8% of chance to find a backer pilot that who has the 2D hand draw portrait, and if you up that chance to the way I did, you would have a 50-50 choice chance of the character who would appear on your hiring hall would be a 2D hand draw. So that's good because, well, I end up having all my characters being backers, except Decker, Medusa, and Bahamut and Glitch, and the main character. And to the end, to say at the end, Decker's still alive to the end of the times. Now, keeping on this, mods cannot solve all the problems because every time that you try to, for what I see and for the people who are making stuff on Reddit, trying to change your main character portrait literally makes the game crashes. So don't try. Until people find a more good way to do so, I doubt it then we're gonna have. So yeah, this is kinda suck. Because another problem is I never was able to do a portrait to my main character that doesn't look like he doesn't end up looking goof or something. He always with the mouth open and stuff like that. He looks strange as fuck. I use beard to hide that fact, and normally I would use a style of beard on my character, but never the full-grown one. But this time I have to use simply because, well, not have a beard, I would see my mouth gaping open. And that's a problem with almost every single character. Now, at the end, this kind of exemplifies many of the aspects on BattleTech. On the concept, they are amazing, but something along the line kinda not go so well. So, since art style is out of the way, let's go for sound effects and music and voice acting. Okay. The music of the game is great. The soundtrack is amazing. I'm listening to the soundtrack outside of the game when I'm doing stuff. Literally, when I decide to go to work and I have to stay for like a long period of time, I have BattleTech soundtrack to thank me for not sleeping on a job. Voice acting, they're great. I didn't see anyone doing a bad voice acting. And the guns and sound effects of explosions are amazing. I'm not gonna lie, the sound department carried this without a problem. And that's why I found strange, because everyone else there was something, but the sound, they got a plus on this one, because really amazing. I didn't find anything that I want to complain or that stuck with me. And I still have one thing that I want to know. Maybe I'm wrong, but there was a voice actor there on one of the missions. Like 2 of the missions. I don't know, like he appeared more than once. Probably in a cutscene in some missions. Then he probably didn't ask for this. Now let's go for the plotline, the history of the game. Well, here is again when we got that problem. Everything is great, but there's something that really pulls me down. And this time I have a little bit more than just something. I enjoy the history. I enjoy the plot. I enjoy the campaign. I'm enjoying the way it went. Although there was one of the major plot points, like one of the plot, I call it like very, very early when literally it happened. I said, okay, we know what's going on, and we know how this is gonna happen. On the ending, when this is having a more like you have some third part appearing, you say, ah, okay, I know how this is gonna fit in. So it's nothing mind blowing, but it's a good history. And maybe the problem is, I come to this game with the mindset of a Shadowrun Return, Shadowrun Hong Kong, and Dragonfall in mind, but it didn't kind of have this flow to the history. The game is more like, strangely, I feel at a point I don't know if the midpoint or a little bit above, the game literally rushes you. The game literally says, let's go, let's go, you have to finish the campaign, you have to finish the mission. I don't know if it is because the timeline of the game, then, like, for example, yeah, this is what happened, we have to finish the campaign until on this date exactly, this is where the restoration over, and or there was a big event on places close by, then they need to like cut this thing short and yeah, finish. So I don't know, and that's what I have to say. It felt a little bit strange, like rushed at some point. Another thing is the pacing of the campaign feel like strange for some reason. I during the even when the moment I wasn't not being rushed to it, I literally hadn't much time to do other contracts. And what I mean by that is, okay, I had like after a story mission, you have the freedom, you can do whatever you fucking want, but priority missions, from what I know, and that's not something that I did test, they can expire. So I decided to not go traveling like a to the end of the galaxy to discover if that would fuck me over. So I was normally end up being very close to the border, to the reach per se. So my reputation on when the moment that I end up the campaign was literally only good stands with the restoration and with one more faction. I don't remember the one who has the more Chinese name. Probably, I don't know. I really don't remember the name, but it's only that because it's literally close, and with the fact that like sometimes I would literally arrive on a planet for to do a contract and would appear you have a priority mission, and I said fuck, let's go finish this contract fast and go, hope then I don't have any head injuries on my main on the people like higher level, and let's go back doing the mission. And literally, since you're kind of going with a lot time, like 30 days, 40, 30 something days during to jump from system to system, yeah, that kind of can stack a little bit, huh? Now, other things that I didn't fight a problem with on the main campaign, besides the fact that I feel they rushed you to the end at some point. The pacing is a little bit strange. They don't allow you too much freedom during the main part, but at the end you're totally free to do whatever the fuck you want. So yeah, that kind of compensates itself. Is your character backstory? Maybe. The choice that I made for the like my ancestry probably was not the smart one if I really want to have a connection with the plot line. So I'm gonna blame that on me. But the other choices, they don't have too much of a bearing on the game. Like, you have two more choices to do, exactly. What happened to your families or to you, then you literally are in, like, fuck, you become a fucking mercenary or a pirate or something like that. And what do you become after it? Whatever happened to your family or to you happened. And that is it. You have two events, I think, because the only like moment there was things talking about my background was during two events, one for each, one for the fact that my family got betrayed, and one because I was a freelancer mercenary, frontier freelancer. So yeah, I wish we would have more. Maybe, for example, one for your, because for some reason you like step out from nobility as a single child to being fucked. So yeah, you can probably try to place a fucking quest there and some thing. Maybe I just got in luck and the fucking thing didn't trigger from me. I don't know. But I feel like the backstory of your character is a little bit underused. Yeah, you got some like small dialogue options about it, but wow, in the end, dialogue options on this game don't fucking matter. Don't like the way the fucking thing is on the main storyline? Go back and retake the contract. They will replay the cutscene for you, and you can choose different dialogue paths. Except I think in the end one you like after the mission, you don't have a choice. And one fact, the moment when you really feel then you're rushed into the game is when the first part of the mission don't have a cutscene. Like, you probably will have normally on the normal parts in the beginning, you will have a cutscene on the beginning of a mission and one to the end. Not a cutscene, but a dialogue exchange between important characters and things like that. You have a little bit of a story before and after. There is a point in the game when they literally kind of say fucks to the ones in the beginning and literally just rush you, give you one at the end, and there is it. So, in the end, although I enjoyed this history, I think some parts are not the best. With the simple fact of the way that sometimes they rushed you in, the fact that your character background is not too much use it. So maybe I would prefer have a like set-in background. If that meant then I could not, then I like have some things then literally tied into my background. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the fact that I already look. Uh, I gotta. This is a minor spoiler. If you choose the background of your family got betrayed, out of nowhere, that entire problem is solved. It's on the past. And literally, I said once I, because I recorded the first episode, I said, "Huh, that's gonna be cool. How the hell am I going to do whatever to do? I gonna have vengeance on my family?" And at the end, I already have it, and I don't know how. Okay, it was a little bit underwhelming. Now, let's go to the gameplay, because, well, that's gonna be fun as fuck. Well, the gameplay is fun. Literally, I'm enjoying. If not, I would not have thrown in 100 hours. Because you can finish the campaign in 30 and something? I think I finished with 40 and something. I have a restart at some point, and I have a lot of crashes, slowdowns, and problems. And I'm gonna go and talk with performance issues in the last part of this fucking thing, but let's go for gameplay. Look, mostly if you are a veteran of the series, this part you can skip. Because I have a friend who was really, really into BattleTech. And when I literally, the first time I played the game, I complained to him about some of his stuff. He said, it always was this way on the tabletop, so didn't expect too much of a difference. And of course, the problem then, stock map, like the stock function, the stock layout of the map sucks. When I said to him that I was following the fucking thing and I was getting like kicked in the ass, he said, "Yeah, now I found that's your problem. Don't follow that fucking thing." Understood something. Stock is when that shit came out from the factory. You were a mercenary, not a general of a war, or who would use that fucking thing that way? Go adapt. Use that as see what's the main gun, what's the most thing like they use, and take out a lot of shit that you find useless and throw armor on it because you're gonna be a little bit more happy. So in the end, that kind of worked, and I got a little bit far on the game, man. Started to experiment a little bit more, and that made the game a lot more fun. But still, there was some problems. Head injuries, to be more exactly, and fucking LRMs. Because literally, there was some point in the game where there was this mission, this lovely mission. I have to retrieve some fucking dude and get a something that the guy made. I think it's a art piece or whatever, his masterpiece. So we have a lance of 4 max, the enemy has a lance of 4 max, plus 3 vehicles. The fucking vehicles was in the fucking other side of the map, in literally butt-fuck nowhere. And I engage with the lance. Literally on the turn 3, on the initiative slot 3, I could go out, make a sandwich, and come back to my computer, and the fucking thing would be still trolling LRMs on my fucking head. And let's remind, this fucking thing has probably like 2 or 3 LRM 15s. So it's 45 shots. 45 shots has 1% of chance of hitting your head. Because let's remind, the fucking thing only will hit shoulder, like right torso, left torso, right arm, left arm. There is a chance of hitting the center torso or your fucking head. And I know what you're going to say. Dispatch a fucking light mech and go there. Yeah, they were literally on the fucking other side of the map, on a fucking hill, and I had to pass through a fucking tree line to do that. So yes, the fight was literally everyone survived with 1 health. My commander was killed theoretically because I know he has the plot armor, so he got 109 days out. Yeah, 109 fucking days out. Let that sink in. Forehead injuries. Let's not talk about about stability, because really, when 3 vehicles who has LRM 5 or LRM 15s decide that you're going to go down, motherfucker, you're gonna go down, motherfucker. And yeah, but I can't solve you the problem about the head injuries in list. It's not gonna solve, and not gonna like magically make the head injury disappear. But go to Nexus mod, go to BattleTech, scroll down, you're gonna see, I don't really remember his name, but I'm gonna link in the description. the nickname of of Reality Machinima on the Nexus. He's a guy who made a lot of great mods on XCOM, and well, he made the best mod on BattleTech, the one who made SMGs and stuff like that don't hit injure my pilots. Oh yeah, that literally was a good thing. So at the end, that's my great frustration about the gameplay. Besides that, everything looks fucking fine. Now, I want to do a comparison here, real quick. Why does most of the people are complaining about injuries? And I do see some people on the Steam forums complain a lot about it. And I think you can answer that. Look, normally I will do this comparison to XCOM, because XCOM has injuries, death, and nobody fucking complained too much about it. The reason is, if John got killed or injured if John got killed, okay, shit happened. Grab the next motherfucker on the iron hall and get over with. But if John got injured, son, it's gonna be 30 days and that motherfucker gonna be injured on the beginning of the game. On XCOM, if John got injured, you got 10 motherfuckers in the line to get injured for you. And one thing, those 10 motherfuckers, they not gonna cost you a penny. On BattleTech, that motherfucker will cost you. And that motherfucker will cost you money. And he won't be not making that money back that month. He will be draining the cost. Not gonna lie, at the end of the game, if a motherfucker got injured, first the guy has to be a fucking... I had to be playing with my ass on the mouse and keyboard, because literally, with the amount of shock observers and cockpit mods that I have on that fucking thing, I doubt it the fucker gonna be injured. But if that happened, fucked. I have still 15 motherfuckers left to do that job. And they will pull the weight for this motherfucker, who will probably stay for 14 to 10, 12 to 14 max days out. So I'm okay with it. But in the early game, the struggle is real. Now, this video is almost getting in half an hour. And I want to talk about performance, because that's where shit hits the fan for me. Okay, so I recorded the first episode of a quote-unquote Let's Play. What happened is, first, the game crashed a lot. At the beginning, the first time I did play, the game ended up crashing a lot. I finished the tutorial mission, the game crashed. Then I finished the tutorial mission again, and I started saving like a madman. The game didn't crash. Then I decided to play the metal, like the mining metal platform stuff mission. And the first bug happened. And this happened a few times in my playthrough. Especially with vehicles. For some reason, for some fucking abnormal reality distortion field, sometimes when a vehicle decides to move, the game closes my UI and literally gets stuck. Sometimes I can hear the vehicle moving, sometimes not. The game still are playing the idle animations of every fucking thing. The mech's still turning around, the wind's still blowing, sound happen, but I cannot click on anything. I cannot find the menu. The UI goes to butt fuck nowhere, alongside of the LRM carriers and the SRM carriers, and things like that. So yeah, that happened. Most of the time that happened on the first mission when I sent Decker to ninja the objective. But whatever. After doing that some fucking times, finishing that fucking thing, because that happened 2 times in one crash. I kept playing for like 2 or 3 hours. And what happened? Next day when I came to play, my saves were gone. So I followed the fucking Steam line, and what do you guess? It's a RNG to decide if the saves would appear during the first hours, the first patch of the game. Why? Because sometimes the game will decide to fuck your saves, and you could do nothing about it. So yeah, you need to keep closing and relaunching the game, verify integrity, doing whatever the fuck you want, and out of somewhere your saves would be back. That's not happening now, but yeah, on the launch that was a thing. Second, on launch the reinforcements could act on the same turn they arrive. So yeah, that was fucking wonderful, wasn't it? A lot of things pissed me off of performance, like crashes, like the fact of for some reason this game made out of unit is literally making my 1060 scream like a bitch. 1070, I changed that fucking thing less on the end of the year. Literally, that fucking thing is eating 100% of my GPU. Sometimes on longer game sessions, there is a memory leak and the game starts slow down, so you have to quit the game. Sometimes you have to quit to task manager because the game won't shut it down. Sometimes saving the game will slow down the game. And since I was traumatized with the fucking bugs on the beginning of the game, I end up saving a lot, which make the game slow down a lot. So I was a little bit pissed off. So yeah, at the end, performance kinda not the best. And I'm not gonna lie, for some people this is not a problem. For some people, the game is running smooth as butter. But for me and from some other people, the fucking thing are awful. And sometimes, although I'm not gonna lie, we are in the 1.3, 1.03 patch or something like that. But sometimes those patches end up breaking things. So yeah. Right now, at the end, this is the end of the review. And for more than I want to recommend this game, for more than I want to everyone and their mother buy that and recommend for the dog too. Because I really want to like an expansion who address the problems that I had with the fact then the campaign is rushed, your background is not used on the campaign, the fact that you cannot use hand draw custom portraits on your main character. Allow for fuck's sake we choose some of that if we have made them on a reasonable format, please, would be amazing. The fact that we can't customize your pilots, and allow me to say, yeah, there is ways to do so. In the end, I can't kind of say go and buy it right now. You may end up having some of the problems that I have, and some people are less tolerant than I am to performance issue. Like I struggle to most of the campaign. I finished the fucking thing before the first patch arrived. So yeah, I struggle with a lot of bugs, and I struggle because at point I was enjoying the game. I was enjoying like the thrill of being a leader of a mercenary company, deploying with my mechs, and I really love the risk and reward sometimes the game places. Like or not, you can try to risk to get that mech for yourself by lagging it, but you're putting your mechs in at risk. You put in all the financial that you place because, well, it costs. The cost of repairs of this game is different because a mission can cost as much as you want. As much money you literally want to place on a mission is the amount of money that mission will cost you. And boy, it will cost you sometimes. Because RNGesus is not on your side these days. People told that before time in XCOM really fucks you over. But Jake Solomon once said, XCOM protects the player like a motherfucker. While in this game, there's no way. So, in the end, I don't know. I can't recommend fully this game to everyone. And I may be thinking the right way would be waiting. But at the same point, I don't know how it's gonna be, how the planning gonna be. If we're going to have expansion packs or small DLCs. If this is gonna be what Shadowrun Returns was for BattleTech, for example. Maybe in the end we're not gonna get a expansion. We're gonna get BattleTech Clansfall or something. Yeah, I tried to do a joke with Dragonfall, but calm down. I will be soon seeing myself out. But yeah, you got the idea. It has a basis. Yeah, it is great. But I will not fully recommend this to everyone. If you have a larger amount of, like, your threshold to bullshit is kind of high, yeah, go ahead. If not, wait. I think. I don't know. As I said, as I even said on my first video about BattleTech, in the bottom of my heart, I really want this game to succeed. I really want this game to sell like crazy, to be the top of the top, to allow this franchise to grow and like we have BattleTech 2, 3, 4, and whatever the fuck. But in the state there is right now, I don't know. There's still some bugs. They're doing constant patch, which means that you cannot be reliable on. You cannot rely on mods to solve some issues because some mods can broke. Although mods not somewhat friendly to do, it's has a little bit of a. I'm not seeing a mod 2 being created so easily. But at the end, ladies and gentlemen, that's my opinion on BattleTech. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, if you have anything to say, leave in the description, in the comments. I will leave this time the link of the mod that I'm using to solve problems with my head injuries on the description too. If you have anything, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you dislike the video, the dislike button is right there. And if you want to see what the hell come next on this channel, because neither I know what I'm gonna do next, subscribe. I still have to finish the 2 series that I was doing. 3 series with Frostpunk. See you guys on the future.